तुषार की पूरी डेवलपमेंट प्लस ICPC जर्नी के बारे में जान रहे होंगे. सो सबसे पहले तो तुषार, टेल अस मोर अबाउट योर सेल्फ. Give a brief introduction of yourself and where you have been placed or where have you got the internship.
Okay, so as you know, my name is Tushar Arora. So currently I'm pursuing my dream of engineering in computer science and engineering at RV Institute of Technology and Management, Bangalore. So I'm a 7th semester student. I have been placed at Truva. It's a startup. I have been given a role as software engineering intern. So my first day at company has been started at on 10th of January 2025.
Okay. So your internship has started.
Yes. Today I have taken leave to meet you.
We feel very special and thank you for taking out this time to do this interview with us. अच्छा तुषार, टेल अस अबाउट योर एंटायर बीटेक जर्नी. आपने कौन कौन सी चीज़ें पढ़ी, किस ईयर के अंदर, व्हाट डिड यू स्टडी एंड किस तरीके से यू प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर दैट इंटर्नशिप?
Okay, so like before joining my college, I was just only following Aman Dhattarwal Bhaiya's YouTube channel. So at that time, I just had the knowledge that CGPA matter करती है बहुत. So in my first semester, I went into my college. I talked to my seniors, and I got to know that no one in our college has ever got 10 SGPA. So I decided that I'll get the first ever 10 SGPA of my college. So I put in my efforts day in and day night. But due to some unfortunate events, I got a right hand wrist fracture just a day before my semester end examination. So I had the two options, either to like get the backlog in all the subjects and apply for them in the next semester, or else I could like do whatever I could do to get the minimum marks to pass this. So somehow like I tried my best. I took some painkillers, applied some moves, and then I gave the exams. And somehow I managed to got 9.55 SGPA in the first semester with a broken hand.
Nice.
So I was the second runner-up in my college for the first semester. Aman Dhattarwal Bhaiya said, you try to make like good friends. The 5 friends you will have, you will be the average of those 5 friends. So I tried to like have quality of friends. लेकिन जब like स्टार्टिंग में क्या था कि हमारे कॉलेज में बच्चों में वो फर्स्ट ईयर से पैशन दिखता नहीं है कि उनको जॉब क्रैक करनी है, या फिर लाइक स्टार्टिंग में लाइक स्टूडेंट्स आर वेरी इन द मूड टू लेस एंजॉय द कॉलेज लाइफ,
क्योंकि वो जेई से थक के आए होते हैं ना सारे बच्चे.
सो फिर जब मुझे ऐसा नहीं लगा तो फिर मैंने अपने सीनियर्स को अपना फ्रेंड बना लिया. मैं सीनियर्स के साथ शिफ्ट हो गया था. सो उसका मुझे बेनिफिट क्या हुआ कि लाइक वट एवर आई विल बी गोइंग थ्रू, दे हैव ऑलरेडी गोन थ्रू लास्ट ईयर. So they have a year of experience more than me. So every day, like during our meal times, during breakfast, lunch and dinner, I used to sit with them and ask them, Bhaiya, what all happened today? Could you please tell me what to be done for this subject? Because they already have gone through it, they have the experience, and I could learn it from their mistakes. So that was something I felt helped me stand out from the crowd, be little extra than my classmate. So at that time, by my third semester started, I was really got into the DSA part. By the time I was about to complete my third semester, I got selected for the ICPC regionals. So it was my first ever ICPC regionals, and it was a college first ever ICPC team. So as the college is new, there were great of like ample of opportunities for us to explore. So I got to work upon so many great projects along with my professors. So like I decided like I won't be going back to my home. So during those semester end breaks, I always try to utilize my time. So after that break of second to third semester, I plan to do a research paper along with my maths professor, as I have a keen interest in maths. And he used to find me like a good student. So he approached me like, Tushar, I'm working on this problem statement. Would you like to work upon this with me? So he, me, my senior and one more faculty, we all 4 worked together, and we managed to publish a paper by the end of my third semester. So, but because of ICPC preparation, DSA and this research paper, my CGPA like hampered a little bit. So by the end of my third semester, my average cumulative CGPA was around 9.0.
So that is hampered CGPA.
Like I was aiming to get something else. Then by fourth semester, like I got to know about your course. Like I think by that time you started Delta 1.0. So Again, I went back to my seniors. I asked them, Anna, like we in Karnataka call our seniors as Anna or Bhaiya. So I reached out to them and asked them, like, as you said, this I have done. Now what next? So he said, okay, just don't focus on competitive programming or DSA. Try to gather some knowledge in web dev, or try to learn Munstack or Meanstack. So at that time you were teaching the Munstack in Delta 1.0. So I asked them, is there any good source where I could learn from? So they said, like, recently they saw your advertisement and they suggested me. So I was one of the early bird students who purchased your course. So through that I got some discount. So through that I learned Munstack from you. And by the end of fourth semester, I was like 35%. I have completed that course 35%. And by the end of fourth semester, company started coming to our college because of the combined placement with the main campus. So by the end of fourth semester, Microsoft came. It was the first ever company which came to our college, and it kept the CGPA of around 7.5. So, and all the branches were allowed with no backlogs. So from my college and the other two colleges combined, around 550 students applied for it. So out of them, only 25 students got shortlisted for the next round. So I was the only one from my college, 24 from RVC, and then for the interview, after that interview, another shortlisting happened for the last round, which was managerial round. For that, they only shortlisted 12 students. So I went till the last round, but because of some network issues, my meeting got disconnected thrice. And at the fourth time, I got the call in between my interview. So my interviewer didn't appreciate it much. So I realized that I won't be able to make it to the company this time. Then the day I got this news, I am not selected for the company. The next day I got the news that I got an off-campus call from Google. They wanted to take an interview for me. As few weeks ago, there was an opening on their portal. So I applied to it through a referral from an SD who was working at the Google. So after a few weeks, they reached out to me and they said, Tushar, if you just they generally ask for your schedule. Whenever you are free, we'll try to schedule a interview that day. But at that time, my semester and exams were going on. So I couldn't give them the proper dates. But I have heard these rumors that if you try to postpone their dates, they generally don't come back. I somehow requested them if something could be possibly done. So they were quite kind enough to give me this opportunity. And once my exams were done, they again reached out to me and asked for my new dates. I gave my dates to them, and then they scheduled my interview. So I cleared the first round, which was technical interview. And the next round was system design interview, where they were supposed to ask us low-level design and high-level design. I, being the fourth semester student, haven't done DBMS or computer networks, and this was all expected from them. So they asked me to share my transcript, where it mentioned which all subject we have done so far. So by the time I shared my transcript, my second round of interview was also done. So even though performing decently well in second round, when they got to know about my transcript, they replied back with something like, Tushar, we appreciate your efforts in the second round, but we are looking for someone who has already studied DBMS and CN as their subject in the college. So because of those reasons, we won't be selecting you for this year, but we are looking forward to your application next year. So these were the two downtime which I faced. One, first rejection from Microsoft, the second one from Google. So till the time I could come over of these downtime, I got the another opportunity from Google. Every year they run their Google Developer Student Club program, where they select one student from some of the selected colleges in India, where they feel like the student could represent our company well in their club, in their college. So for my college, I was selected by the Google for their GDSC program. Through that, I reached out to my HOD and my counselor. I requested them, this is the situation, so I need to start my club in the college. Please grant me permission for that. And all that happened. For the next 1 year, I was into complete leadership skills. And during that phase, I got an opportunity again from Microsoft, where where I applied for their MLSA program. It stands for Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador program. So fortunately, I got selected into that as well. But as it was quite difficult for me to handle both the clubs, I decided to continue with Google for some time. And when my tenure about to finish in Google GDSC program, I started to continue with MLSA program that time. So then for that I also have to start my MLSA club in the college. I continued with it, and then by the next quarter, there is a stage in MLSA. You start as enjoinee, you become alpha, you become beta, then you become gold, then you become the valuable member of MLSA. So far I am the beta MLSA, and afterwards I started preparing for my placements. So I think I have extended a lot, but this was my journey so far.
Tell us more about your development experience. Did you ended up completing the entire MERN stack, or is it still left?
As I have already studied HTML and CSS from you through your YouTube channel, YouTube playlist. So I didn't particularly go for the topics which I am already aware of. So I skipped those topics and aiming for the ones which I am not aware of. So technically saying, I have it shows on the website how much percentage we have completed.
So you've completed the entire MERN stack.
Like that we can say.
ठीक है. Tell us more about your internship. Which company is it, and how many rounds were there for selection?
Okay, so the company I'm currently working at is Truva. It's a startup. It's a tech-driven real estate startup where they are trying to ease the housing experience for the customers. So this company came to our college again with the minimum cutoff for a student to have 7.5 and with no backlogs. So this time when they came, around 350 students were eligible and all of them applied for it. So the good thing about this company is there is a difference how tech giants and startup hires. Tech giants generally look for students who have a problem-solving mindset along with the skill set. But these startup they majorly look for the skill set. Not they come forward and say we won't be asking you DSC for problems. We'll be checking your skill set. And this was something which happened in this company. So once all of us submitted our resumes for this company, they shortlisted top 15 resumes out of these 350 students. So they shared those lists and told our placement coordinators that we'll be interviewing these 15 students. So please ask them to be ready by next week. But after 2 days, they again shared a mail where they divided these 15 resumes into 3 classes: Class 1, Class 2 and Class 3. Where Class 1 has the better resumes, then Class 2, then Class 3. So they told that we'll be only interviewing Class 1 resumes. If we couldn't find a suitable candidate, then we'll go forward to the next class and accordingly. So my resume was earlier in the top 15, then it came to the Class 1. So I was among the top 8 students who were in the Class 1, and we got the opportunity to interview at Truva in the very first stage. So my interview was scheduled the next day compared to the other students. 4 students had their interview on the very first day. The next 4 has the next day. So by the time my interview could start, I had the opportunity to ask other 4 students what all was asked to them, and so that I could just prepare those topics well, and I could just know what could be the unexpected questions they could be asking us.
So Tushar, tell us how many rounds were there and what did each round consist of in the interview?
There were 2 rounds of interview. First was technical and the second one was also technical, where they somehow included some HR questions to check the students, and the students who cleared the first round out, they selected only top 3 students for the second round. So it was me and 2 other students from the main campus.
So initially they shortlisted only 8 resumes. Then they shortlisted only 3 students after the first round.
They interview 8 students, and out of those 8 interviews, they liked 3 interviews. And out of those 3 interviews, they took their second interview.
Okay. And what was asked in the first round and the second round?
So as they were aiming for 2 projects mainly, which they are currently working in the company. One was the development for their website, and other one is they're trying to build their AI model for the True IQ, which value the properties that they are buying and selling. So they were aiming for students who could either have a MERN stack or web development knowledge, or who could be someone good in AI ML or data science. So the first round they asked me more about the JavaScript. They asked me about filter and reduce methods. They asked me if a array is given, how could you do the sum for the elements? So as a mindset of DSA student, I just gave them the brute force with big of n complexity. They said I want you to think in perspective of how you would solve this in JavaScript, because in JavaScript we have a method by the name reduce, which could just do it without in one line. So this was something asked to me, and then afterwards they give me a problem where they described it to me like the design a function where I'll be giving the input. The number of input I'll be giving could vary every time. So it was like a very variable function using REST parameters. So this time also we need to do the sum, but the inputs they'll be sending in could vary every time.
Okay.
So these 3 questions were asked. Once this was done, they asked.
Primarily, the first round was focused on JavaScript and logic.
Yes. Like I asked other students what was asked to them. They said they were asked some DSA questions, but once they solved the DSA questions in their desired language, they were asked to do it in the JavaScript.
Okay.
They said, you know the logic, you solved it. We want you to see whether you can solve it in JavaScript or not. So that was something others told me. And once this was done, after 8 days, we got the result for this company's second round. But in the meanwhile, I got selected for Swiggy and Zing HR interview as well.
Okay.
But as per the college placement policy, a student could only apply for one company's interview at a time. They could give the OA of other company, but they cannot sit for their interviews until they get the rejection from the other company. So that was a phase where I have to decide which company to go for. If I sit for Swiggy, they were supposed to release the result by the end of the day, and this company could release the result next day. So I thought like as I'm among the top 8 students here, and I need to again start from the scratch, fighting against the other 50 students. So I dropped my interviews as Zing HR and Swiggy, and I like targeted this company itself. The next day I got the actually they only supposed to had one interview, and they said you won't be having any other technical interview. It could be HR, otherwise there won't be any other interview. But the next day we got the mail for another technical interview. So then I gave the interview there, and at the same day, by the evening, they told us like these are the students we selected. So I was the only one from my college. One student from RVC got selected, and once I joined the company, I got to know they selected 2 more students. One from BIT Goa and other one from BITS Hyderabad.
Okay. All right. So what is the stipend and what is the placement package for this company?
So stipend they are giving is 50,000 per month, and the CTC is 23 LPA, where 13 is the base and 10 is the ESOP.
Okay. So 20 plus LPA is generally considered a dream offer in India. So are you happy with the company?
Yes, like actually I had this entrepreneurial mindset where I wanted to work in this domain. Recently, Amanda Tarwal Bhaiya made a video on finance. So watching that video, I like little bit got inspired by how to do my investments, how to save my money, and how to put it in the better place. So like prior to this, an year ago, I was selected by VTU, which is our university, for 150 colleges in Karnataka in collaboration with Government of Karnataka to pitch in my startup idea at Startup Mahakumbh in March 2023. So that time my startup idea was based on this real estate business. So whenever I used to ask my seniors which one should I prefer, the tech giants or the startup, so they said it's your call, we'll tell you what are the pros and cons. So the pros and cons, they told me that if you work in tech giants, you will be doing small part of a very big project, which you will be not aware of what other people are doing or what like how much you have contributed to the as a whole project. But if you will be working in the startup, you will be working completely on the whole project. So this was something like I wanted to do, because I feel like if I start something from the sketch, I should end it by the line. So this idea, like which I felt like in my interview, it's a startup, there's a scope of improvement everywhere. So in their job description, they told us they are trying to be a Spinny for real estate.
Okay.
So I went up to the Spinny's website, I went up to our company's website. So,
but isn't every real estate like already used and old, like Spinny, old cars?
Like we are trying to be tech driven, where we don't like initiate the conversation with the customers reach out to us. Like we are like the company is very much known in Powai. So this year they started their next branch in Bangalore. So when I compared their Spinny and our company's website, I could feel some differences which I suggested in my interview. So which I felt like made me stand out from rest of the candidates. So when I interviewed for the second round, I told them, sir, why you should hire me? If you select me, this is something which I felt like is different from the company we are trying to be. So I could do this if you select me. Luckily, when they selected me, and now I'm working at that company, I have been given the same project which I pitched in.
Okay.
So now I'm the single point of contact for the project. If required, I need to tell my co-founder and my manager what all to be done for this project. So it's something like when you interview, better to tell them why they should hire you rather than why you should be hired. So why, how it could be a benefit for both of them. So that thing, when I pitched in, I felt like it could help me out.
Good. So what do you think was the importance of CGPA in the entire process?
Okay, so on campus, CGPA matters a lot because some of the times a company comes, they say we want students having 7.5 CGPA. But when they felt around 550 students have filled the form, but we don't want to take the OS for them, they internally increase the CGPA criteria to 8.5 or 8.2 sometimes. At that time, students between the range of 7.5 to 8.2 felt like we were told 7.5, but we still didn't get the chance to give the OA. So on campus, it's really important. For off campus, it won't be that important. And this is the I was watching the interview for one of the HRs of a tech giant. They said we as a HR doesn't care much about the CGPA, but our seniors who are 20 years old, they still have this mindset students with good CGPA represent the discipline, the sincerity in the work they do. So student having a good CGPA reflects he's disciplined, he can get the work done at the sincere rate. So some people with that mindset are still there in the corporate, so we need to balance out both the things.
I think in my personal opinion, majority of people in corporate are of that mindset, because anybody who graduated 20 years ago, they're still working in corporate. And they have that mindset because everybody had that mindset at that time.
Yes.
So probably things will change after 20 years. So, okay. So tell us more about the projects that you had written in your resume. How many projects did you have in your resume when you applied to Truva? And what was the tech stack? And describe your projects.
Okay, so I mentioned 2 projects which I did in my past internship. And 2 projects which I did in my academic project, and one was the research paper which I did in my second semester. So the one project which I did in my earlier internship was designing a color detection for the colorblind people. It was a complete data science based project. About this project, I have been asked questions in multiple interviews other than the current company I'm placed at. The second one which I mentioned was detecting the drowsiness of the driver, if the driver is drowsy or not. Or the third project which I mentioned was the finding the load balancing between the nodes to maintain the sustainability. The fourth one was my portfolio which I built after watching your course. So it was a complete React Native based project which I not just created but
React.js or React Native?
React.js.
React.js.
So which I not just created but I hosted as well. So which I think was appreciated by some of my interviewers. You not only just created the projects, you implemented them and hosted them, where we could see the implementation.
So you got selected for the Truva internship with a 50,000 stipend. Tell us top 3 things which helped you secure this internship.
Okay. The first one is whenever I get into an interview, I research really well about my interviewers. As soon as I get the mail, I know who is going to take my interview. I research everything about them on their LinkedIn. Where have they worked? What are their expertise? What are the recommendations they have got from their previous employers? So that I could know where I could get stuck at. What could they ask me problem about? So whenever any interview starts, interview generally start with the introduction. So I had this habit where I intentionally stopped them when they said, "Hi Tushar, I'm let's say XYZ." So I used to say, "Sir, no need of it. I know everything about you. I know you have been working in this company." So I used to tell the interviewer about their introduction. Okay. So this was one thing where I have been appreciated by my interview. They said you have done your homework well. And the second thing where I mentioned I pitch in the ideas, what I could bring to the table if you select me. So that thing made me stand out from the other candidates who are just answering their questions, who are not putting in their ideas. And the third part which I felt which I learned from your live session which you used to take in Delta 1.0, whenever in the end of the interview they used to ask you, do you have any questions for us? So that part is not just to like let it go so easily. That is something which could help you get the internship in the end. So I always used to make utilize of those last 10 minutes where I ask them some questions about the tech stack they use in the company, or how do you spend your 24 hours, if you could like visualize it in the pie chart, so that I could understand where I'll be spending my time. So these were the questions I used to ask them in the last 10 minutes. So I think these three parts were placed an important role for me getting this interview and the internship opportunity.
So, throughout your journey, did you also make any mistakes that you would like to correct if you could go back?
Okay, so till my third year, till my sixth semester, I had 100% attendance in all the subjects, all the lectures.
Okay.
Even my professors were fed up of me. Why don't I bunk the classes? Sometimes they are not in the mood to take the lectures.
Are you the person जो एक बार decide हो जाता है कि we are going to do mass bunk, and then you are the person who goes and sits in the class?
Like I tell them I'll be sitting in the class. My parents are spending money on my education in Bangalore. If you don't value your parents' money, it's up to you. But I'll be sitting there, so I don't backstep them. I'll tell them in their face, and I'll sit in the very first bench. Maybe like I'll be hated from many for this reason. So this is something which I felt like there was no need to attend all the lectures. There were few lectures which could be missed, where I should have valued my time more. I should have invested that time in learning the skills. I thought like if I'll be missing my class, I'll be like devaluing my parents' investment in me, or I'll be like breaking their trust. But like there were some benefits like which I felt like I got the discipline in me, that where I never used to take the offs in my college lifetime, which will help me getting a good like everyday work in the corporate. So that thing which I could go back and change about myself is like I will miss some of the lectures this time. There was no need to attend
all of the lectures.
Yes.
Okay. Apart from this, any mistakes that you might have made in your technical preparation that you would like to correct, or anything better that you would like to do?
Like mistake which I could think of is like if I go into DSA, I'll do the DSA for next 3 months. Then suddenly I'll decide like, okay, it's been like overwhelming situation for me. Let's change the situation. I'll do the development. Then I'll do the development for next 3 months, day in and day out. Then after 3 months, I'll think like, oh, I should start like working on my DSA as well. So I used to keep switching between both the things. If I have to like make another correction, I will be doing it for balancing both the things equally. Like it, as you said in one of your live sessions, that even if you could do one problem a day, if you look back after a year, you will be seeing that you have done 365 problems in a year. Yes. But never miss a day, because if you miss a day, like it will be felt like a reason for you to miss another day. And then development is the same thing. If you miss a day, you will forget the things you studied earlier. So if I have to do one thing, I'll be balancing out both the things and not focusing on one thing at a time.
Okay. So you'd balance DSA and development with each other. ठीक है. अच्छा, how did you manage your academics along with your tech preparation?
Okay, so like for me, balancing my academics was not a difficult part. Whenever I used to sit in the class, I was that first bencher who used to listen to professors, look into their eyes 60 minutes of that hour, so that whatever they say, it used to get into my mind, and I don't even have to study for my internals. Just at night before, even if I don't study, I was confident enough that I could get 90% of the scores. So if I attend the class, for me studying was like not required after going from college. So for me it was like 9 to 5 college, then 5 to 7 rest, then 7 to 12 study for my skills.
So you're already preparing for a corporate job of 9 to 5.
Like the reason I joined the college was to get a good placement after my 4 years. So I worked for it from very first day.
ठीक है. Tell us more about your ICPC experience and your competitive programming experience. How did you start? How much time did you spend on it? What has been it like?
Okay, so maybe I'll get scolding from you for this, because there were some topics which I was not very clear about. So for that, someone recommended me to watch your Alpha course. But I already purchased your Delta course and I didn't have the funds to buy another one. And there was a friend of mine who already purchased your Alpha course. Okay. So I requested him if he could share me his credentials So through his credentials, I watched complete your alpha course, and that helped me like getting a better understanding on some of the topics. And if I could tell you, in my third semester when I went for ICPC regionals, I solved all the problems in C++. And this time when I went to ICPC, this time I went for 2 regionals, and in both the regionals I solved all the problems in Java itself.
Okay, after doing
Alpha.
Alpha, you started programming in Java, and then you used Java for ICPC.
Yes.
Okay, did it help?
Yeah, a lot. Like the way you explain is like makes us understand the things are very simple, or else we were in the bubble that things could be very difficult if we don't get the proper guidance. So that we were getting it from you very easily. So that made me think like I used to be afraid of BFS, DFS in my third semester, graphs, DPs. But once I saw your videos, I was like, it's a cakewalk. Why I didn't see it earlier? Like I was used to regret, like why didn't I get to know about your courses earlier? So वो चीज मेरे थोड़ा लगा कि यार पहले पता चल जाती तो बेटर रहता.
What about the topics that are covered in Alpha in terms of DP graph? The topics that are covered there, were they sufficient?
Like I was aware of some of the topics earlier, but I was not getting that clarity on it. So that some of the topics that you taught helped me like fill in those gaps. Once those gaps were filled, I was able to think another logic. You always used to tell in your alpha course that don't solve the problem just by one solution. Try for alternate solutions, because in interview we have to give another approach to everything. Like we start by brute force, then we go for optimization, then we give the most optimized solution. So this thing I learned from your course, where you used to tell us this is the thing I have told you, think something else for the same problem. So those things which were not there in my preparation were fulfilled from your course.
Okay, happy to help.
Like why didn't you bring Sigma earlier?
We also didn't know. We were trying to do one thing at a time, but hopefully now Sigma will help students who want to study both of the things.
Like now if anyone comes up to me and asks me, Bhaiya, what to do for, like now first semester students, when they like come up to us and ask us, Bhaiya, like how you did this, please guide us. So only solution I have is to just go and buy Sigma. No need to go for another DSA course, no need to go for another web development. It will solve you all your problems. This is what like I generally start giving advice now.
Nice. We are happy that it helped you in your journey.
Not particularly, like I couldn't buy the Sigma course, but Delta definitely, and then Alpha.
ठीक है. So in your entire like interview experience, you first interviewed for Microsoft and Google. उसके बाद you also interviewed for other companies, and finally for Truva, where you got selected. What do you think was the most memorable interview experience for you?
Okay, so I think it's a trauma as well for me, and I would like your opinion on this. I was rejected by saying I'm overqualified for the company. Like this happened twice for me during my interview.
Okay, so what were those can you tell us more about those companies that told you that you were overqualified?
Okay, so as I told you that whenever I used to go for an interview, I used to research well about my interviewers. So it was an on-campus company. So where I cleared their 2 OAs. The third round was the interview. So during that interview, I asked my SPC like who will be my interviewer. Could you please tell me? So he told me the names. Then I researched about them on their LinkedIn. And when I got to know that one of the interviewer is already my LinkedIn connection. When I entered the interview and they started with their introduction, I again started with my intention to like interrupt them and tell them about themselves. And then I told them, sir, like there is no need of introduction by you. I already know you. We are already connected on LinkedIn. We have more than 130 plus mutual connections and everything. I was aware of about one interviewer, but other interviewer I couldn't find the LinkedIn profile. So I was my focus was trying to impress her, because he was already like quite impressed, because he said like, well done, you have done your homework well. So like this company was in the middle section. They were not paying well, and as soon as my interview for the first round got over, like there is a distance of 50 meters from the interview room to a seminar hall where students used to sit. As soon as I came out of my interview room, just after taking 5 steps, I was called for the second round. So they were this sure that we want the student this in our company, and within a second they decided to send me to the next round, where the HR wanted me to answer some diplomatic questions which I don't have a habit of. I generally go straight for.
What did they ask? What did the HR ask?
Like they were trying to work upon some cybersecurity projects. So they told me like, would you be willing to work upon this? So I told them like, I don't have much knowledge about the project you might be trying to put me in, but if required, I'll put in my efforts. And then they were like same questions they asked me in the first round about the other companies and the why do you want to join us. So actually the answer which I have, which is the real answer, was like in my first semester, I'd like made a list of 100 companies which pays above specific threshold value.
Okay. What was the threshold?
For me, it was 1 lakhs per month in my account as a base. So 12 LP should be the base. So I made a list of,
You know na, even if 12 LPA is the base, you will not get 1 lakh per month in your
after the tax deduction.
Yes.
So like I was not aware of that thing at that time, but I made a list of 100 companies. So what I used to do is like I organized them in the lexicographical order. So every week on LinkedIn we used to get 100 connection requests.
Okay.
And I know that whenever this company is going to release any off-campus opportunity on their career page, I'll going to apply for it. I'll going to ask for the referral from one of the employees. But by the time I could send them the connection request and they accept it and they give me the referral, by that time the company might have like withdrawn their vacancies. So what I used to do is like I used to start digging the well before I may feel like thirsty. So I used to send 100 connection requests to one company in 1 week. So I used to send this for next 100 weeks. So because of this, my LinkedIn account got banned for twice or thrice.
So you did it for 2 years?
Yes, for like all the 100 companies I did it. And that made me for like I got my first 3.5k connections LinkedIn through this by aggressive sending the connection request. So by the second year, when I came to my 5th semester, if any companies release their vacancies on the career portal, I don't used to get more than 2 hours to get the referral from an employee. So I used to have at least 30 to 50 connections in every company where I want to apply. I used to send the same cold mails to all of them.
So let me just summarize it. आपने 100 companies shortlist की 1 लाख पर मंथ से ज़्यादा जिनका पैकेज था. आपने प्रायर ही सारी कंपनीज के कई सारे एम्प्लॉयज़ के साथ यू मेड कनेक्शन रिक्वेस्ट एंड व्हेन दैट कंपनी स्टार्टेड हायरिंग आपके पास विद इन 2 hours you used to get a referral for it.
There's the same case now, but now my like followers have reached from 3.5 to 13.5. So now I get to get the referrals more easily. So getting a referral off campus was not a big deal for me. That's how I got my referral for Google. But after getting a referral, companies like they are very selective while picking up the candidates. There I still was missing some gap. That time you did one live session where you told us how to optimize the resumes, how to make it better. So prior to that, I was just using a simple doc where I used to put in some templates and my details, which were not like, it was not ATS friendly, it was not well oriented, and there was no one to tell me like it is wrong. Even like by the time I reached my second year, our first batch was getting placed. So they were also facing the situation which I was planning to face now. So that time you did this live session in the Delta 1.0 where you told us how to frame it, what's the importance of every single aspect of the resume, and like why is it important. So learning from those and the differences I have in my resume, I built a better one. And this time I made a habit of like keep improvising it every 7 days.
What was the company name which told you that you were overqualified for them?
Baker Hughes and Athena Healthcare.
Okay. In my head, one possible reason could be that you have mentioned ICPC and you have competitive programming related achievements. So generally startups and other companies, they perceive that this student is so serious about DSA that he'll end up applying to a company like Google, Microsoft. He'll leave us eventually.
Okay, so I didn't tell you this, but this was the exact same words told to me by my interviewer. Like as we were already connected on LinkedIn, he reached out to me on the very same day when I got my result that I'm not selected. Over a call, he texted me on LinkedIn. He told Tushar, call me, I want to talk to you. I said, sir, I don't have your number. He gave me his number. Who took my first round of technical interview. He said like 3 years into the same company. I talked to him and he told you, Tushar, like if you want to get into company, lower down your resume. There was no need to mention ICPC. Many of them might not be aware of it. And then if you put in those things, they'll definitely not gonna select you. So fit in your resumes as per the companies you want to get into.
Because they know that if you are into CP, then you are going to apply to MANG companies. So DSA or development, what do you think helped you more to get your current internship?
Development. There was no DSA question asked. They specifically mentioned we won't be asking you any DSA. We are a startup. We don't want to see your DSA profiles. We want to see what projects you have made, how good are you at those skills. So nothing was asked from DSA.
Okay. All right. So what is your advice to somebody who is currently in their first year or second year and was just starting their programming journey to get a good internship, to get a good placement? How should they approach their preparation? कौन सी चीज़ पहले सीखनी चाहिए, कौन सी चीज़ बाद में सीखनी चाहिए?
चीज़ों को बैलेंस करके रखेंगे तो बेटर रहेगा. If they balance DSA and development at the same level, it will be better. And don't be so much of like me who goes to college every day. No need of it. You can skip few lectures and CGPA इतना important नहीं matter नहीं करती. 8.58 college के on campus में sufficient है. And for 8.5 just studying a day before the exams is sufficient. So academically इतना focus मत रखो. 8.5 maintain करके चलो या 9. और DSA और development साथ में करो. किसी एक को छोड़ के like it's like you get the problem solving mindset from there. You implement it in development. You use those data structures in optimizing your website design. So they both go hand in hand. You cannot miss any one of them.
Okay. And what is your advice for a student who maybe wants to start competitive programming in college?
Like, there is no day one, like one day.
I thought you were going to say there is no need. Okay, there is no?
Like one day when I'll start, it's always the day, like one day you can always start. So tomorrow could be the day you could start. Today is the day you could start. So just pick the language you want to work in, then stick to it. Don't get confused and keep switching the language. That way you won't get the good depth knowledge in any particular language, and you may be at the surface level for all the three languages.
कि क्या rating रही है different coding profiles पे?
Okay, so code forces पे I was the specialist. Lead code 1960 night. Code chef 1760 3 star.
Okay. ठीक है. एंड कितना टाइम आपने इन्वेस्ट किया होगा competitive programming DSA पे? अच्छा ये बताओ इन टोटल DSA पे आपने कितने मंथ्स इन्वेस्ट किए एंड डेवलपमेंट पे आपने कितने मंथ्स इन्वेस्ट किए?
DSA पे मैंने around 12 months, development पे around 6 to 8 months. Because once I got to know how the things work, it was easy for me to catch up the concept in development. Like if I would have I would have started with development, I would have to spend 12 to 18 months learning it. Then I could have easily picked CP thing, like the DSA part. It's just that you need to understand how things are working, so that will help you understand the other part of it.
Okay. So finally, when you got the internship, what was your parents' reaction then?
Like we all were happy. It was something we all were aiming from the very first day. So there were tears in my eyes. There was like smile on my mother's face. Father didn't pick up the phone. He was busy in his work. Then I told my friends. So they all were happy, and now I still have a treat to give it to them.
A treat?
Like
Treat?
I haven't given it to them yet.
Okay. What do you plan to do with your first stipend?
I'll invest something in mutual funds, learning from Aman Bhaiya. I have plans to like contribute some of my stipend to all the professors who have helped me grown from child till now. Because without their support, I couldn't this couldn't be me. And some part of it to my parents, which were always there for me.
They were also like teachers.
Like I put them before God, so for me they were the first priority.
Good. All right. Is there anything else that you would like to tell us about your journey?
So I forgot to tell you one thing. Like there is one foundation by the name Sugun Thomas Foundation in Bangalore who funds the college fee for the students who belongs to economically weaker section. Plus they have to be academically good. So how I got this opportunity is like I reached out to my principal. I ask him the alternatives or the possibilities where how I could pay my college fees, because the college has raised their college fee by 10%. So he understood my situation and helped me out by writing a recommendation letter to the trust office. And then the trust office, they referred me to this foundation, where they took my and my family's interview. And after having, I guess, 2 interviews, I was mailed and told that I have been selected by this foundation. And from then onwards, from my 2nd year, 3rd year and 4th year, they paid my complete college fee, which helped my parents and me by like having this fearless कि मेरे को कॉलेज की फ़ी नहीं पे करनी है, वो प्रेशर नहीं है अब। तो मैं थोड़ा ज़्यादा अच्छे से पढ़ाई कर पा रहा था, वो प्रेशर के बिना जो मेरे को लर्निंग अपॉर्चुनिटी थी वो काफ़ी इम्प्रूव हो गई थी।
Nice. Okay, Tushar, it was really nice talking to you. And to summarize Tushar's journey, Tushar has been very hardworking. One thing that I liked about his journey the most is he picked one thing, which was initially DSA. He did a lot of work towards that journey. He also participated in ICPC. And then when he started development, he also worked on projects related to development. And Tushar, from your interview, one more thing that I liked about is that you believed in preparation before time. So even if it was related to referrals, he prepared for referrals very early on. Even if it was related to academics, he prepared for things early on. Even if it was doing a background preparation for the company or for the interviewers, he was ready with those things. So basically he took an effort. Sometimes we just need to take some little extra effort in our interviews to show the interviewer how interested we are, how keen we are towards that opportunity. So that is something that I found very impressive about your profile, and we wish you all the best. And I hope that a lot of students will be taking inspiration from your journey. A lot of students were probably also coming from Uttar Pradesh, from Meerut, and they'll be inspired and they'll also pursue good things in their life. आज के लिए इतना ही, मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट इंटरव्यू के अंदर. Till then, keep learning and keep exploring.